Well, I'm going to be making some sauerkraut. Why? Because cabbage was on sale for 59 cents a pound at Hannaford's. So I bought 8 pounds of cabbage. All sauerkraut is cabbage that's shredded up, and I put it into a crock pot. I have a huge crock pot here, right here. And then I add salt to it. And it's for each pound of cabbage, you use 2 teaspoons of salt. So I have 8 pounds, so I'm going to be using 16 teaspoons of salt, which is 1/3 of a cup of salt. To flavor I also am going to be adding caraway seeds and caraway seed powder. That smells delicious, but that gives a nice flavor to the sauerkraut. It takes about a month for the sauerkraut for the cabbage to become sauerkraut. There's nothing magical. It's just you shred up the cabbage, you add salt to it, water if you need to cover it, and you just let it rot. And that's what it is. Rotten cabbage is sauerkraut, but it is so good. Let's start with slicing up the cabbage. Okay, you use the whole head of cabbage. Okay, beautiful cabbage. Look at that gorgeous cabbage. And then I'm just gonna sit here. Now it's easier to use this. I'll put it on my setting where it's open pretty wide. And all you do is shred it all the way down. Watch your fingers when you get near the edge. I've cut my fingers off many times with this mandolin. See? All this is that. All you're doing is this. Beautiful. Okay. This is my crock that is now full of 4 heads of the shredded cabbage. Okay? I haven't added anything to it yet, but I want to show you what it looked like when it was done. This will all go into this. Now this I put in the refrigerator. This is absolutely delicious. This is the sauerkraut. This is when it's done. Oops. It is absolutely delicious. I have this fennel seeds in it, and it's been in the refrigerator. It is absolutely the best sauerkraut you'd ever want to taste. So this is how it looks when it's done. You don't have to add the fennel seeds or anything, but this is how it's in the refrigerator. After about a month, this will ferment down to this. And gosh, that's good. That is so good. Now to this, now roll up the sleeves. What you got to do now is you're supposed to crunch it down like this until the water comes out of it, and it'll go down to about half as much. That takes quite a bit of time because you got to squeeze it first. Okay, so here's my salt, 1/3 cup of salt. I'm going to put it in my bowl. I'm going to add some caraway seed powder. You don't have to do this, but I like the flavoring of it. I think it tastes delicious. And then I'm going to add some caraway seeds because I like caraway seeds. And my dad, well, we're German. My dad's gone now, but he told me when he was a kid he used to have to go out and stir the sauerkraut and get the scum off of it all winter long, as it was in a 50-gallon wooden drum out in the backyard. So there's our mix. So I'm going to add some water to this to pour on top of my cabbage. Now, the whole thing is the cabbage has got to have enough water so it's underneath water. It cannot be exposed to air. It's got to be underneath water. So I'm going to add water to this. How much? Oh, I don't know. Maybe a cup. Stirring it up. Doesn't matter how much. You could pour a whole bunch in here. Okay? Sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. It's on my bowl. little more water. Now I've got probably 2 cups in there of water, okay? Now the nasty part comes, trying to squeeze it down with my hands. I'll only do so much because I'm gonna let it I'll put a heavy weight on top of it to push it down. It's gotta be pushed down. So here we go, we start doing this. And I'll do it as long as I can to reduce this down to a half of a crock. Already it's reduced down to half just by squeezing the water out of it and doing this. Turn it around as you do it and getting all the fresh cabbage off the bottom and squeezing out the water. And you do this till it's so that there's water being made, and then if there's not enough water being made, you cover the rest of it with more water from the tap water. I'm going to keep doing this until it reduces some more, but see how much that's reduced already from the top? Whew, it's a lot of work. Okay, it's down half as much as it started with. There's not a lot of water in there, and you have to have it totally covered with water, and you have to put a weight on it. And since this is an old crock that's like of 100 years old, you could do it in anything. You could actually buy a sauerkraut maker where there's a weight on it. I don't have it, but so what I'm going to do is I put a plate on top of here like this, squish it down, and I have a flat iron for the weight. And I'll put the flat iron in a Ziploc bag. It's clean. And then I'll put that Ziploc bag in another Ziploc bag. This will provide the weight that I need for pushing the sauerkraut down. Now, there's not enough water in there because when I put this now, I'm going to put this on top of there. There, and I'm pushing it down, okay? So I don't see any water there. So I have to add enough water so that it covers the sauerkraut, the cabbage. So I'm going to add some more water now. And don't know how much, but I'll add it on the side of the and I'll let that sit until tomorrow morning when I'll come out and see how much the cabbage has shrunk down and how much water has come out of the cabbage. And so now I'm just going to go put it on the floor, and I'll put the crock top part back on it. So so there's my crock, and I'm going to just go set that over there, and tomorrow I will go open it up, see how much water has been made from the cabbage, and then I will either add or take out whatever I need to do, and then I'll push down the edging of the cabbage so it doesn't expose to air. And then you do that, and you just leave it for a month, and it becomes sauerkraut. So there's my crock, and I'm going to just go set that over there, and tomorrow I will go open it up, see how much water has been made from the cabbage, and then I will either add or take out whatever I need to do, and then I'll push down the edging of the cabbage so it doesn't expose to air. And then you do that, and you just leave it for a month, and it becomes sauerkraut. Okay, overnight it made more water, as you can see. And so I see the water. So what I did is I just took the, and it's half. It started out here, and now it's a little less than half. So it is compounded, reduced quite a bit. And so now I'm going to put the plate back on, put my weight back on it, and I can see that the water is coming up here on the sides, which means it's covered. So now I don't have to worry about it being under the water because I know it's underwater. It will make more water as it pushes down more and more in the next couple weeks. So now I'm going to put this aside and let it just sit for 2 weeks, and then I will take it off and taste it and see if I would like it that fermented or not. If not, I'll leave it for another week. And then after I have it done in like 3 weeks, I'll take it all out of there. I'll put it in a glass jar in the refrigerator, which will retard the fermenting process because it won't grow as quickly in cold refrigerator. And I'll put a top on it, and we'll have it to eat, like we had last night with pork and sauerkraut. It was absolutely delicious. So that's how you make sauerkraut.